Hello and welcome to another video from the only source of information you need to not only survive the current apocalypse, but actually enjoy it. And today I'm going to be talking about my truck. It's kind of a classic for people who like diesel trucks. This is like the holy grail of diesel trucks, as far as I'm concerned. I mean, there are others that are really popular, but mine seems to be very desirable amongst those kind of people. But anyways, I have to give you a disclaimer before I get started. If you're not interested in trucks, you know who I am, then you can probably spend your time better by looking at one of my Bible videos. But another thing that I have to tell you is that there's going to be a lot of begging for money in this video, because that's basically what it's about. If you remember, a few months ago I made the statement that I really didn't want anybody sending any money to my PayPal account anymore, and that I was taking the ads down off my videos. Well, that didn't last very long. The only reason I did that is I'm diabetic and I have to take blood pressure medicine and cholesterol medicine, and my wife has to take antipsychotics and blood pressure medicine and thyroid medicine, and we have to go to the doctor pretty regular to get those prescriptions filled. Our medical bill is probably $5,000 a year, which may not seem like much, but that's half of my income. That's almost, well, it's more than a third of my annual income, and I really just can't afford to pay those bills. If it came down to me having to pay those bills, I would have to go without my medicine. And the reason for this, that I'm even saying this, is that when they gave us the economic stimulus package and then they gave us emergency EBT, I got really worried that I might get pushed over the threshold. See, right now, the Veterans Administration, Medicaid, Medicare, Department of Human Services gives us a lot of financial support, especially for our medication and doctor's visits. And I really did not want to go over their financial threshold and get kicked out of the system. Now, from what I understand, I can actually make another $9,000 through YouTube or through donations, and I'm safe on all of that. I'll get the low-cost internet, free telephone service, EBT, all of these things. And I really want to do a video someday about poverty, because all of this stuff is hidden from poor people. That's why people that are homeless really don't have anything, because they don't have the ability to spend 40 hours a week sitting in government offices begging for money, which is what I have to do to get all this stuff. So anyway, here's what happened. I took everything down, told everybody not to donate anymore, and it was only like maybe 3 weeks later I was at the Department of Human Services. I talked to the lady. She said that they don't count your EBT and they don't count your economic stimulus check, so that will not be counted towards my income. Now, I asked her then what she thought about the Veterans Administration and Medicaid, and she said, I don't know. I don't think they count it either, but I don't want to tell you that. You have to check it for yourself. So I didn't say anything then. But since then, I've gone to the VA and talked to the people in the county. I have gone to Medicaid office and talked to my representative there, and sure enough, they say it doesn't matter how much economic stimulus or emergency EBT they give us, that does not count towards my income. Now, I would say go back and look. You'll see that there were no ads on my videos for about 6 weeks before I turned them back on. But you can't do that, because YouTube gets to put ads on your videos whether you get paid for them or not. So I cut off the payments for those ads, but they still kept putting the ads on. So, but I did. I turned off my ads, and I did continue to get PayPal, because some people didn't hear me say don't send money to my PayPal account. But it was only like, I think in my PayPal account in the last 3 months, I took in like $100 or $200. I think it was $200. So I wasn't too worried about that anyway. But anyway, what I'm telling you is, if you're one of those people that was putting money in my PayPal account and you enjoy doing that, I can only tell you I enjoy it more than you do. And so if you want to do that, the PayPal button is on my YouTube page. I don't think they have them on the individual videos, but if you go to my page, there's a little thing that has a P on it. That's PayPal if you want to donate. And I am going to put ads on everything now. I mean, that's not going to change how you see things, but they're going to be there. So what I want to do is give you a tour of this truck, just to show you, what I got. And I'll do that right now. This is a 1997 Ford diesel dually. It's got the 7.3 Powerstroke engine in it. Part of the name is it's an XLT Powerstroke diesel. And I don't even know if that means anything, but I know the F350 is the rating, weight rating. And the fact that it has a diesel means it is highly sought after. This is probably the most sought after diesel truck, classic diesel truck that exists. You know, right after this, they started adding a lot of emission control stuff that made the diesels perform, not as good, and the fuel economy was not as good, and eventually you had to start putting some stupid diesel fluid in along with your diesel fuel. You had like basically a tank for your fuel and a separate smaller tank for this emissions control stuff that mixed with the fuel. So it became really problematic to have a diesel sometime after this truck was discontinued and they went to the next generation. Now for me, the reason I want this great big, way over powered truck is because I want to mount a camper in the bed of this truck. And the reason for that is I've always wanted to be able to travel. I've always felt that there would come a time when I had to get out of here. If you watch any of my Bible videos, you know we're getting very close to the end, and I have no idea how that's all going to play out. But I don't see myself sitting here in this house making Bible videos as the world is coming to an end. I kind of see myself visiting with my subscribers, maybe going up and talking to people who are in power. And I initially got that school bus set that you saw a minute ago. And it's great, except for that, when you have a very limited income, you can't have something like that. Like if the brakes go out, that's $3,000 to get that fixed. If you have a blowout, that's $700 to get that fixed. And there's no way on my income that I could just come up with that kind of money on a regular basis. But on top of that, I have really bad arthritis. I'm really tall, and it's just, I can't wrestle this thing around anymore. I've taken it on a few drives, and it just about crippled me. So that's out of the question. And not only that, I got to thinking about the places I'll be going. It's like I'm not going to be towing a car or a scooter to get around on. That's going to be the vehicle. If I go in that bus and I have to go to a gas station, I go in that. If I go to a convenience store, if I go to Walmart, if I visit with people, and most of the people that I know are not going to be able to have a school bus sitting in their driveway. This is not much bigger than a regular car. If I get a camper in this thing, I'm good. Now, right before the pandemic, I was approved by Habitat for Humanity to get my house restored because the back end of the house, the foundation gave way, the back of the house ripped off from the top front of the house, so there's big cracks in the roof, and it rains inside the house, and it's all rotted out. And they said they would fix it, and they gave me a date of like March. They would be out here, and they would make me an offer to fix it for a certain amount of money, and they would make a payment plan for me. Well, since then, we've had a hurricane. You may be able to see all of the damaged trees in the background. In fact, here's one right here, pretty big one. And I have over 100 trees like this laying in my yard. So my house got damaged. It's got a metal roof. It's industrial steel. But the hurricane winds were really bad. They tore the roof up. And I think where the roof had split off from the house because of the foundations collapsing, I think the insurance company actually counted that as hurricane damage. So they gave me a pretty big check. I had been getting the economic stimulus checks, and I'd been putting money away because I had the extra EBT. And so I think right now I have enough money that when Habitat for Humanity comes through and restores my home, I can pay them cash that day. I'll probably be broke, but I can pay off everything they're going to do. Oh, and to go backtrack a little bit, the entire thing with Habitat for Humanity, when it was their day to show up, no one showed up. I called them, and they said because of the pandemic, all operations were ceased. Well, I have a feeling that that's all about to end, and I'll be able to get back on the list with Habitat for Humanity, hopefully get my house rebuilt, and pay cash to take care of everything. Now, the only thing that would be left over is this beautiful, beautiful truck. Now, when I bought it, I paid cash for it. I got my first economic stimulus check, and I went down and had everything underneath it replaced. Well, I had the booster pump replaced on the brakes, the brake, the booster and the vacuum pump. I had them go underneath and put new ball joints, new tie rod ends, new drag link, and all of that was thousands of dollars. And then the man I bought it from, he had gone in before me, and he put in new battery, new alternator, new starter, new filters. He had done all of that. So there's a lot of stuff that's already been done to this, and these things are so expensive that if I'd have gotten one that didn't need work, it would have been beyond my income at the time. I had no idea that the government was going to start giving away extra money, or otherwise I would have just held off and bought a truck that was ready to drive. This one is not ready to drive. Needs a lot of work. I estimate that it'll probably take about $7,000 to get it where it needs to be so that I can travel. And I don't think that's going to be too much of a problem. I could probably do that over the course of the next 3 years on my own. But I don't like having this thing just sitting here in my yard. Big thing I need right now is seats. Somebody put Ford Explorer seats in it, and it's like my head. I have to sit like this in there because the seats are designed for a Ford Explorer. They're way higher than what the seats were in this. So I'm looking for replacement seats. That'll be the next big thing. But the transmission, which it works perfectly fine right now, will not work with a camper. It's slipping already. It's really, really old. So I'm gonna have to get the transmission rebuilt. You know, it's $1,500. I want to paint it so that the cops don't be messing with me all the time. But anyways, I just thought y'all all needed to know what I'm planning on doing that requires money, and about how much money it's going to require, which I really don't even know. I just threw a figure out. I don't even remember what I just told you. But I am gonna work on the house and the truck, and hopefully within the next 2 or 3 years start traveling around the country. We'll just have to see. Now I'm gonna show you how cool this truck is. I'm gonna go ahead and start it up so you can hear the engine. I'm gonna take it for a little drive. This is a 97, and it just started that easy after sitting for a week. So the engine is really fantastic. There's really I took it down and had, there were 2 sensors. It was throwing 2 codes, and I don't even remember that. I don't know anything about diesel. So when they told me what the codes were for, I just said, go ahead and replace that stuff. It was like $1,000. But I asked the guy to go through it, and he said the only thing he could see that needed work was a very slight leak. He didn't know where it was coming from. He was going to have to pressure wash it, and I said, we'll hold off on that because that's not a major issue. Unless it's a rear seal, then I'll probably just add oil. I won't pull the engine out of this thing to change a rear seal. This is kind of exciting to me. I've always had like hot rods and custom cars and antique cars all my life, or at least, you know, since I've been driving. And I really enjoyed that hobby. I really, you know, I don't want to sound like some kind of a materialistic dude, but in all honesty, I'm kind of excited about getting this thing restored and getting a camper on it. and actually going to a couple of car shows, antique car shows and camper shows, and just showing it off. But we'll see. I don't know if we have enough time left for that. This world is quickly collapsing, and the bad thing about when you go to a car show, you get to see lots of cool cars, and people get to look at your car, and you feel like real proud that you did something like that. But the people are pretty really shallow. They're not going to want to talk about the return of Christ, not in a real way. They'll talk church talk. It's usually really old guys that are born again Christians that worship politicians and stuff, and I don't get along with those people very well at all. I mean, it's not that I don't get along with them, but I don't have anything to talk to them about. But I still, we got this really big car show down here. I would love to go down there and just cruise around in my truck, maybe take a friend with me. I'm getting ready to turn on the beach, but it's foggy. You won't really see much. You know what? I'm going to roll the windows up so you can see how quiet this is. Because it's a big, noisy diesel, but when you got the windows all rolled up, it's not bad at all. I was kind of worried about not being able to listen to the radio or something, but it's nice in here. Of course, I'm wearing this mic, and it's really good at picking up nothing but your voice. So what you hear may be even quieter than what it actually is, but it's a very quiet vehicle. Right now, I'm only like 4,000, and I think when I measured with Google Maps the distance from my back door to right here on this road, and see, that's a beach there, but it was like 4,999 feet from my house to this road. So it's really quick. It's quick. I could walk to the beach if there was a road going straight from my house to the beach, but I have to go on the driveway and go up like a quarter of a mile and go a quarter of a mile that way, and then a mile or more to get down there. The reason that I want a camper at all, because the little car I got gets like 25 miles per gallon. That would be perfect for long distance trips. And like my mom, when she goes on a trip, she'll drive like 600 miles in a day. And for me, I can only drive about 100 miles a day. Well, maybe, yeah, that's about right, about 100 miles a day, because my back hurts too bad. And so I just can't do long distance driving. So I figured, well, okay, if I had a camper, I could drive 100 miles, and instead of getting a hotel room, just pull over. And I don't need like 8 hours of sleep. I could get in the back of my camper for a couple hours and just lay down, and then get right back on the road again. Drive another 100 miles, get in the back and go to sleep. And so honestly, I think my only travel option is some kind of a camper, and my criteria for what I would be willing to travel in is I have to be able to stand straight up in it, I have to be able to lay down straight when I'm sleeping, and I have to have a comfortable place to sit to do like make YouTube videos or just any kind of work, to eat, whatever I want to do. I need a comfortable place to sit. All right, we're gonna go the other way now. And I'm gonna roll my windows back down because I think y'all have seen how quiet it is. The clock really is ticking on civilization. Time really is running out, and I can tell you, it would not bother me one bit if I never get my house rebuilt and I never get this truck rebuilt. But that's the plan currently because I don't know why. I just like instinctively know I need to do this. But if it doesn't get done, I'll just have to accept that my instincts were wrong. I can't really do any of the work myself. I'm going to have to change out the interior myself. I don't even know where you would go to pay somebody to do that, and I'm sure it would cost more to get the interior of this thing redone than it would to get a new transmission. And I ain't paying. I can do interiors, I can't do a transmission. I'll tell you what though, this truck it has a potential to be an incredible antique vehicle. It's not actually eligible for antique tags till next year because it's a 97, so you have to wait till 2022 to register it as an antique. But I think if I get the interior restored and get it painted and get everything working right, I will have a very, very desirable vehicle. I mean, even I desire it. Like I said earlier, don't judge me for liking gadgets. I'm a man. It's what we do. And let he who has not sinned cast the first stone. Good policy. I'm definitely not going to lie about it. If I get this thing running and I can drive it into a car show, I am going to be so happy, so proud. Especially if I can have a friend with me when I do it. Car shows are really fun if you have a friend with you. Walk around looking at antique cars, especially where they park them. You know, these car shows are always at really, really beautiful spots with like plenty of beaches or trees, you know, park benches, really nice spots. I usually take a picnic lunch with me, and me and whoever I'm with will just sit there eating our picnic lunch. Okay, we're at my driveway. I'm going to get out and get my mail. See if there's anything good in there. Oh, I just love sales ads and credit card applications. They're like my favorite. Oh, let me get out of here. My hair ain't all tangled up with everything. It's all junk mail, but it looks really important, so I'll have to open it before I throw it away, which is by design. Yeah, did you hear it? You see how it slipped before it went into gear? Or before it started moving. All right, I hope everybody out there enjoyed my little walk around, drive around tour of my truck. But before I end this video, I think I need to make something clear. I started by telling people that my PayPal account was now open for donations again. And obviously I would enjoy getting some contributions or donations. But I don't want to leave everybody believing that I need money in order to continue God's work. Very obviously, if you've been watching my videos for a while, you know that I have been revealing sacred secrets to mankind for about 10 years. That have not been revealed to mankind for about 2,000 years. So it's very important what I do. I have in my head that I need to be mobile, which means that could be an important part of what I do. But guess what? If I'm claiming to do the work of God, you can believe that God will make sure the work gets done. I do not need a truck. If I have to travel, God will make a way for me to travel. And in fact, subscribers have already told me that when things start to take place, that they will willingly walk away from their job and help me in any way that they can. This truck right here is nothing more than a toy. When I tell you that I need money to work on this truck, I'm telling you I want money for a toy. That's all this is. I don't want anybody to feel like they have to help me out in order to make God happy. The end of this wicked system we call civilization is this close. God is going to be happy whether you contribute money towards my toy fund or not. I appreciate it if you do. I love you whether you do or not. And in fact, I love every one of y'all, and as always, if you don't want to survive, don't listen to me.